All right, guys. So we're back for another MLB main slate. Going to look at the top stacks and pitchers for today after we review a bit of yesterday's slate. What do you think of yesterday's slate, Justin?
We got the pitcher, the chalkiest pitcher, but we picked the right pitcher. We played the right data, but no one came through. At least just for our lineup. Um, you can't really do anything when you have the data in front of you and you just play it based on the data. So yeah, it sucks we didn't cash yesterday, but it was
Yeah,
just
I
a weird
mean,
slate.
we were pretty much one bat away from placing, and we were stuck between choosing Kepler or Gallo to max out the twin stack. We ended up going with Kepler, who dropped another zero for like the 100th millionth time. He's just so bad.
I don't
And
think
then
he's. Sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I
Gallo
I
dropped 60.
I don't think Kepler's gonna hit this year yet.
No,
It's unbelievable.
but no twins in the slate today, so that's good. Um, I wish the Reds were on the slate today. They look pretty good. If you're playing the early slate, I recommend stacking up that Cubs Reds game. Um, what are the stacks you're looking at today?
Um, I was looking at Boston a little bit against Pittsburgh. I don't mind that. Dodgers have a good matchup. So the data says Boston, Dodgers, Atlanta is the top three stacks, which is all good and all. You were saying something earlier about the Rays, and it's very interesting that, I mean, it kind of makes sense with Houston being right underneath Atlanta, and then the Guardians against Oakland. So it goes, Boston, Dodgers, Braves, Houston, Cleveland, and then Tampa. I think Tampa is a really good shot today. And what's their leverage? Their leverage is only 0.2%, but I mean, playing against Washington, I mean, what what else would you want? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Saturday we played Braves against Washington, and we did it yesterday. And it's not always going to work out like that, but taking advantage of the matchups and all that can go a long way. So, um, Houston is good too. There'll be a little chalkier bats, but against Detroit, can't go wrong with that. What
yeah.
about you? What are you thinking?
So, like you said, I had mentioned the Rays, and with the stacks tool, they're popping up like fifth or sixth top stack and coming in moderately owned at like, probably 7 to 10% on each bat. But on Ballpark Pal on the matchups, I mean, some of these bats are just absolutely popping. Both Lowe's, Bethencourt, Siri, Franco, Walls, whoever gets a start, like Rosarina, they all look really great in runs created today. So I think I like the Rays. I like the Astros, like you said. If we're going to pay up for some bats, those are probably the pay ups I would target. Um, I think if you're going to look at some game stacks, I think Toronto, Kansas City is a good place to start. And I think the Rangers and O's, the way they've been hitting, is a good place to look at too. Um, Gray gets blown up time to time, so I think the O's, for how hot they are, they're a good shout as well. I don't know if I'm going to be on the Dodgers. Just a really bad park. It's going to be cold, and I think they're going to be just a little bit overowned. Um, the Braves are fine as always. I'd rather prioritize somewhere else. And then I don't know about the Sox yet. I haven't looked into them that much.
I was just gonna say, what's the ballpark condition for that game? Is anything popping up for that? And obviously that's
Um,
gonna be like the chalkiest stack, but
yeah, the Sox. So Fenway's looking like it's going to be a good day for like field play. So like doubles, singles. Maybe you want to get some full stacks going rather than hitting like one or two bombs on your usual Devers or Verdugo or something like that. Because it's showing like minus 30 some percent for home run rate, but you're plus 20% on doubles. So if you want to just string some batters together that way, that might be the way to go. But I'm not sure it's showing as like a mediocre park for today. And the parks, make like a difference, but it's not as big as difference as people like to think. It's just somewhere to take advantage of, you know. So
Mhm.
I think the Texas Baltimore game looks like maybe the best environments for today, but it's nothing major.
No, I agree. Um, all right, we ready to talk about this abysmal pitcher slate?
Yeah, it's looking real gross. I mean, 25% like 7K Zach Zach looks absolutely disgusting. But you, depending on the stacks, we might have to go there, and that's just not going to be exciting at all.
Mhm.
I think, I mean, this kid Hunter Brown is popping on the stochastic tool. Gotta be honest here, I don't know much about him. I see that he was, looks like a reliever last year in the bullpen. But they're the biggest favorite on the slate, minus 225, so that increases his win odds. I don't know if he can go 6 innings, but he's popping majorly. I think Kirby might be the safest. It does kind of stink paying 10K for him. He's usually like a low 9K pitcher, but he's got a good matchup against the Angels. And then I think Cortez is probably the safest. I just 10-5 for Cortez is kind of bonkers. So
Yeah, I was telling you earlier, Rasmussen looks good, but 10-2 for that price, like I don't know, like I can't really play that. That's why, like I was saying, this is abysmal because the top pitcher is this Hunter Brown kid, and then Plesac at 7,400. Then it goes Kirby. Barrios likes to give up a shitload of hits. John Gray, I guess he's fine, but Baltimore's been hitting the ball a lot. I liked what you said about Cortez, though, being the safest, but 10-5. I'm assuming it's going to come down to whenever we post a lineup and get the lineup all situated. It's going to be between Hunter Brown, but I got a feeling it's going to be more Kirby. But
yeah, and if you're looking at these price differences between DK and FanDuel, so on DK, Hunter Brown is 7,400 and then 9,100. So that doesn't feel nice to pay that price tag. Plesac 7,900 on DK, 7,400 FanDuel. So it seems like you're getting a discount like on the FanDuel slate for Plesac, but God, he gets blown up all the time. And Cortez is 9,700, so maybe 10-5 is a little more appropriate on FanDuel for Cortez for today. Morton is he can mow on certain days, but the Cardinals have looked really good. I don't know if I want to challenge them quite yet. Kirby's 8K versus 10K on FanDuel, so like we said, it's just not normal price tag for Kirby. And then Gray, um, he looks fine. I just don't know if I want to challenge the Baltimore bats either. They've been pretty hot.
right. So yeah, it seems like the chalkier pitchers are going to be Hunter Brown and Zach Plesac. Hunter Brown's leverage is minus 15% and Plesac is minus 18. Brown's projected for 21% ownership and Plesac is 24% ownership. Oh God, this is going to be insane. One of them is
Yeah,
going to throw like a perfect game or something. We're going to be screwed. But
the pricing is just egregious on everything pitching related today. So at least on FanDuel, DK is a little more appropriate. So I think we'll just prioritize the bats again, like the last couple slates, and then just see where we land on pitchers. Like the other day, we weren't high on Lodolo just because of the ownership, but we ended up on him anyways, just because that's where the stacks were leaving us. So sometimes we just gotta go that route rather than prioritize, like a crazy good matchup or something.
Mhm. This is just a weird slate for pitching. Um, Let me ask you this: any bats that stand out to you right now, kind of regardless of stack, but or if you want, talk about some of the stacks that we talked about and give like a couple bats that stand out.
Sure. So I think if you're gonna go for maybe like some home run shots, I think going against Gray and taking some of those hot Baltimore bats, Frazier, Rushman, Mullins, I think any of them have a really good chance of, hitting one out. Um, maybe Some of those Houston bats, Bregman, Tucker, Pena, of course, Jordan. Uh, I think those are probably my priorities right now. If I'm like taking some home run shots. And as far as like runs creating, like I said earlier, I think Tampa looks really good. So those will be where I'm targeting. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with those.
I
I was
think
gonna
Kansas
say,
City too. Barrios tends to give up
yeah,
massive
I was
amounts of
gonna,
runs. So
yeah, I was gonna say, they're really low on the stack tool, but Bobby Witt Jr. is like an upcoming star. Getting to some of those bats won't be the worst thing in the world. I wouldn't prioritize a stack, like a main stack of them, but if you want to mix in a couple bats, because I think it was last year opening day, if I'm not mistaken, I played Barrios and he got lit up in the first like 3 innings or 4 innings. Do you remember that? Or am I just I I
I think you're right. I think they were playing someone they shouldn't have lost to.
and it was just
But
unbelievable. And of course I started him because should have been like a decent matchup and he got lit up in the first like 2 innings. But yeah, I mean mixing a couple KC bats. I want to see what the batter tool says real quick. I think I can here, you know what actually? Let me do this instead. I'm just gonna do ownership, just to kind of they're really low. And so Bobby Witt's projected for 12% ownership. MJ Melendez, the catcher,
mhm.
8%. Pasquantino 2.9, Perez 2.4. I wouldn't really target anybody else, obviously, but mix in maybe two of those four if you're feeling a little risky with the low ownership, but you know, sometimes you have to do that. I mean, not have to, but sometimes it's kind of smart to get lower owned guys. And like we were saying, Barrios just gives up hits like no tomorrow. So Witt, Perez has really good power. Melendez, Pesquitino. You want to mix in a few of those guys, go for it.
Yeah, and one other thing I'll say just to finish off, Judge is really popping on Ballpark Pal, and I never really get to him just because I never play Yankee stacks, and this might be a slight actually land on Judge. So hopefully he actually hits one out because every time I play him, he doesn't, and every time I don't play him, he's like 30%. He drops two bombs, and we're trailing the whole slate.
Yeah, he has the highest percentage to drop the most fantasy points on the tool.
Yeah, he looks really good.
He should be able to. I'm not gonna even say it. I don't want to jinx us if we end up playing him, but yeah, great spot for him.
Hmm. All right. Well, you got anything else? I think that pretty much covers it for right now. Just tune into our Twitter, check out the lineup, um, and we'll see what kind of pitcher we land on today. It's going to be a roulette of fun.
Yeah, it'll be so much fun. I can't wait.